Welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I am your host, Rabina Rastaban, aka the Realist Astrologer. And tonight I am going to get into my dark-sided zodiac female series. So we're going to start in the natural progression of the zodiac. So we'll start with the dark-sided Aries female. So the dark-sided Aries female, first off, can be very self-absorbed, very egotistical, and downright selfish. She has a me-first mentality. She must always be number one, has a natural tendency to always want to take the lead, and she has the mentality that either you're with her or you're against her. Now, before I go any further, I must reiterate that I am referring to the dark-sided zodiac. So, in my opinion, people are either on the side of the light or they're on the dark side. And you can usually figure out which side a person's on by determining how agreeable or how cooperative they are. So if you know a person that is always disagreeable, they're always causing problems, they're always, being in and out of relationships, are always the cause of breakups and despair, well, more than likely they're of the dark side of variety. So if some of this does not apply to you, anybody who's an Aries, any Aries women, that might mean that you are not on the dark side and that you are of the light. However, on some of your worst days, you may display some of these characteristics. So moving along. So the dark-sided Aries female, she must always be at the center of attention. And if you're dating her, she has to be your sole focus. She can be very impatient. She has a need for instant gratification, and she only thinks in terms of the here and now. So she has a hard time planning, and oftentimes she gets into a bind because she lacks foresight and she lacks the ability to plan and prepare. The dark-sided Aries female can be very combative, cantankerous, antagonistic, and she always has a bone to pick or some type of beef, and she's always starting fights. She can be very bossy. Just think about Diana Ross. Her nickname was Diana Ross the Boss, and she was the one who was the leader of the Supremes. And it's been well known that she really asserted her power when in the Supremes, and she was very domineering and controlling. The dark-sided Aries female can also be a bully. The dark-sided Aries female can be hypersexual. She can be a connoisseur of cock, basically. She tends to lack discretion when it comes to sex partners. She's lustful, can be downright nasty, bawdy, slutty, promiscuous, and she often can dress in very provocative ways. So she's known to wear low-cut skirts and cleavage-bearing shirts. So a perfect example of a dark-sided Aries woman is Joan Crawford. She was the subject of the movie Mommy Dearest. So Joan Crawford was an Aries, and one time I saw this documentary on Joan Crawford, and this one guy said that when she was on this one movie set, she would have to climb up this ladder to get to some type of platform, and she would purposely not wear panties so that the guys coming up after her could see, all her goods. So yeah, dark-sided Aries female can be very lustful, very sexual, almost too sexual at times. She can portray a very manly persona, and her mannerisms can be manly as well. She tends to lack femininity. However, when she does portray femininity, it's often overtly sexual, or it seems forced or artificial. The dark-sided Aries female can also be rude, crass. She may fart in front of her man, or she might, burp without saying excuse me. She might be fiddling with her crotch area, scratching her ass, and, not really caring. So very, very crass, uncouth. She could be the quintessential biker chick. So that real tough, tomboyish type of chick, the alpha female. Like I said, tomboy. She's the epitome of the stud or butch lesbian. Nothing wrong with lesbians, but I'm basically just saying that, Aries basically is the epitome of the stud or butch. The dark-sided Aries female is often very aggressive, has this hunger and thirst, so always hungry or thirsty for the next thrill, can be very desperate acting at times, especially when she's bored or she needs stimulation. She can treat people roughly, especially people that, she's close to or care about, or her man. She can be really insensitive, obnoxious, and disruptive. The dark-sided Aries female also has a hard time making and keeping female friends, and she often prefers to be one of the guys, and a lot of times that's how she gains a slutty reputation. She can be ultra competitive, and for her, it's all about winning. And the dark-sided Aries female, like the dark-sided Aries male, does have a tendency to prey upon the weak. And they have the survival of the fittest mentality. So going back to Joan Crawford and the Mommy Dearest movie, if you saw the movie, think back to the scene where she was racing her daughter in the pool. And even though Joan Crawford was years older than her daughter and much stronger and bigger, she didn't give her daughter a chance to try to, win to make her daughter feel good. And basically she was like, her daughter was like, that's not fair. You're bigger than me. You're stronger. And Joan Crawford's response was, well, no one said life was fair. Well, that's typical dark-sided Aries. Joan Crawford was definitely a dark-sided Aries. Another trait of the dark-sided Aries female is she will try to one-up everyone. And she will be ruthless in her attempts to win or be first. So again, it's that win or lose mentality. It's being ultra competitive. And she could be a sore loser and a straight up hater. And oftentimes the dark-sided Aries female can't be happy for other people when they win or if they're doing well. And they are known to cheat or bend the rules in order to win or to be first. The dark-sided Aries female also has a very violent streak. She's a natural fighter, so it's natural for her to pick fights with people. She'll even fight a man. She can be trigger happy, love guns or weapons. She will shoot, stab, or even kill you and then laugh or brag about it later. She will abuse her partner or spouse if she can get away with it. And she's the type that will break a bottle over your head in a bar fight. So she's the type that will fight dirty. She will bite, she will kick, pull hair, everything. So when it comes to fighting a dark-sided Aries, you got to really bring it all. You got to bring your A game. And when they're guilty of something, a lot of times the dark-sided Aries female will show no remorse or shame or guilt or regret. And they often have a quick temper. They can go into these angry tirades or go on a rampage. They'll tear shit up, break shit up, but then they'll quickly cool down and pretend like nothing happened. So going back to the Mommy Dearest movie, Joan Crawford is the perfect case study for a dark-sided Aries female. Remember when she got cut from, what was it, Goldwyn Mayer? And she started chopping down her rose bushes. And she was like, Christina, bring me the axe. That's dark-sided Aries. They can be hateful, fault-finding, jealous of other people's success, envious, and be hating on people because other people have admirable traits that they wish they had. The dark side of Aries will also steal the limelight or take all the credit. They can be bad with money, impulsive when it comes to spending, wasteful. She'll spend money when angry or upset. And in terms of money, a lot of times she's unscrupulous. So the dark side of Aries can easily fall victim to prostitution. She could be a gold digger. And the dark side of Aries, a lot of times pussy is her chief value. She tends to have no class, no style, no decency, no decorum, no sensibility, or no refinement. The dark side of Aries female tends to dress inappropriate for her age. She's the 50-year-old woman in a leather miniskirt, hanging out at the bar trying to pick up 30-year-olds. And a lot of times they're bad with putting on makeup. Either it's too dramatic or the colors are just off. And they're really bad at, doing their eyebrows. Oftentimes they have that Sharpie eyebrow look. It's just really severe. So their makeup techniques can be very severe. The dark side of Aries female can also be very immature, childish. She has a tendency to throw tantrums. She will totally disregard your feelings and she will lash out at a moment's notice. And as I said before, she'll fight dirty. The dark side of Aries will also be very disloyal. She will sleep with her best friend's man. Now, I said this about the dark side of Libra male, about him doing this with his best friend's woman. So flip the script. The dark side of Libra male is the antithesis to what a manly man is, because the epitome of a manly man is Aries, and the polar opposite sign is Libra, the female sign. So if you reverse it, for an Aries woman, that's a lot of masculine energy that a woman has to deal with. So a lot of times that energy is channeled in a negative way. So like the dark side of Libra male, the dark side of Aries male tends to be disloyal. And like I said, she will sleep with her best friend's man, her husband's brother, her father's best friend, her boyfriend's brother or sister. And she's only loyal to her current desire or passion. She has a tendency to have extreme mood swings. She will go from elation to mad dog in a matter of seconds. She jumps to conclusions before knowing all the facts. She assumes all the time and makes an ass out of herself in the process. Another thing is she's very restless. She can't settle down, always ripping and running, and she can't be domesticated. So if you're trying to make her into a housewife, it's going to be hard, unless that's just, within her nature. Speaking of housewife and domesticated duties, the dark side of Aries female has a tendency to be a bad cook. She tends to burn food or she'll undercook it because she's very impatient, and it's hard for her to be a proper housewife or a homemaker. She could be very inattentive and neglectful as a mother, or she could be very laissez-faire and have kids running wild, or she could be the very cruel and abusive type. Again, Joan Crawford, mommy dearest. The dark side of Aries mom will fight her own children. Like if she has adult children or teenage children, she'll want to put on the boxing gloves and actually fight her children. And in divorce proceedings or during a breakup, she will use her children as a weapon. The dark side of Aries female is risky, reckless. She'll throw all caution to the wind, and she can be self-destructive, especially through booze, drugs, and sex. And she can be maniacal, so she can be just go through these thrill-seeking moments where she's just out and about and just ripping and running through the streets and going to clubs and going to bars, and she might just go on these little adventures, every once in a while and just go crazy. The dark side of Aries female has a tendency to be a heavy or binge drinker. She will down a bottle of Jack or a fifth of gin with no problem. She could drink a lot of men under the table. She goes on alcohol or drug binges, and this is often when she can get pregnant by mistake or ends up cheating on a partner by mistake because she's out at the bar drinking, getting drunk. She can also be a DUI queen because Aries loves to drive. So a drunk Aries is going to want to get behind the wheel. So if they don't have nobody to wrestle the keys from them, they're going to get behind the wheel because they swear they know how to drive while they're drunk. And some of them really do. Some of them still have skills while they're drunk, but some of them don't. And then even if they do have skills, a lot of times they'll still get stopped by the police anyway because they're speeding or they're just, not paying attention. The dark side of Aries female can jump quickly in and out of relationships. So she's very unstable when it comes to love and relationships. And she will leave a trail of broken hearts or broken men or women. And you better follow her lead because basically she's wearing the pants in the relationship and she's always going to be in the driver's seat. Even if she doesn't have much power and even if she doesn't have much money, she's still going to try to assert her will. She could be reckless, like I said before, dangerous, be a speed demon of a driver, so I mentioned that. She can be prone to road rage, and she probably has a gun in her glove box, so be careful. She will use sex as a weapon or as a way to advance in her career or life in general. And she's prone to marry or partner up with powerful men to get ahead. So think Diana Ross getting with Barry Gordy while he was married. Joan Crawford, she got with, some high-profile men. One of her husbands was the CEO of Pepsi Cola, and she basically broke him down, and I think he had to file for bankruptcy at the end of the day. Jane Mansfield, she partnered up with Anton LaVey, the leader of the Church of Satan, because she wanted to be, with the in crowd. And so yeah, Mariah Carey's another one. I'm not saying these are dark side of Aries. Actually, Joan Crawford is a dark side of Aries. I would say Jane Mansfield and Diana Ross to a little degree. Mariah Carey, she's a little, she got some dark sided traits, but I wouldn't call her a dark side of Aries. However, she did get with Tommy Mottola to advance her career. Also, the dark side of Aries woman enjoys destroying men or emasculating them. She'll tell a man that she has bigger balls than he does. She could be a man eater, and she has a tendency to chew you up and spit you out. So if you're a weak type of male or if you're really passive, a lot of times the dark side of Aries female will be attracted to you because she knows that she can, control you and dominate you. Matter of fact, I would think that Delilah from the whole Samson and Delilah movie was probably an Aries, the dark side of Aries. She tricked Samson using her sexuality, and she learned the secret to his strength, which was his hair, his dreadlocks. And while he was asleep or drugged up or drunk or in ecstasy over the sex, she cut his hair and he lost his strength. So that is a classic dark side of Aries woman to me. Also, the dark side of Aries woman can be a user. Again, that deals with their selfish nature. So they have a tendency to use people up until nothing is remaining. And the dark side of Aries woman, she goes to extremes with passion. So she loves too hard and she can be too passionate. And then when she hates you, she hates too hard and she's too passionate in her hate. Sometimes the dark-sided Aries female, she has this too tough persona. She'll act like she doesn't need anyone, and she'll burn bridges in the process. So the dark-sided Aries female can create a lot of enemies in her lifetime. Also, she's too instinctual, very animalistic, very feral, wild, has that kill or be killed mentality. And for the extreme dark-sided Aries female, she can have arsonist tendencies. So if you really piss her off, she's the type that might burn up your clothes, smash up your ride, like Prince said in Adore. Maybe he was talking about a dark-sided Aries. I don't know. But yeah, she is the type that would burn your house down if she can. Aries is a fire sign, and it is the chief fire sign. So a dark-sided Aries female is attracted to fire, and they like to destroy things via fire. So that's my take on the dark-sided Aries female. If you feel that I left anything out, please feel free to comment and contribute. Please like and subscribe. Please stay tuned for the remaining videos of this series. The next video will be about the dark-sided Taurus female. That should be interesting with their high and mighty selves. So stay tuned. Peace and blessings.